I'm supporting Abby Stevenson for Woman of the Year for the San Diego chapter of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. I nominated Abby for Woman of the Year earlier this spring after learning she had lost her father to CLL and that her husband is a non-Hodgkin lymphoma survivor. This video is about my story, my connection to blood cancer, and why I am supporting Abby for Woman of the Year. My first connection to cancer was in 1995. I was a month into my sophomore year at Clark University in Massachusetts when I heard that very close family friends of mine, Liz and Michael Copley's 2.5-year-old daughter, Carly, was sick. I had a very close connection to Carly as I was her first babysitter. I soon learned Carly had a rare form of leukemia that mostly only adults get, called AML. I didn't really know what that meant or how serious it was. I was busy with my schoolwork and pretty much I just went on with my life. After 8 months of chemo, Carly still wasn't in remission, and unfortunately she didn't have a related donor match. Just 2 days after I started my junior year in college, Carly passed away at home with her family. That was August 16, 1996, and Carly Jean Copley was just 3.5 years old. After college, I returned to San Diego and started my event planning company. In 2005, Liz Copley invited me to join the board of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society San Diego, Hawaii chapter. I was honored, and Liz and I have been the dynamic event fundraising duo ever since, co-chairing many events for LLS and always remembering Carly along the way. Then in 2008, my grandfather, Hugh Friedman, was diagnosed with a rare form of leukemia called CMML. He was in the very early stages and felt fine. My grandfather has always been very special to me, and upon hearing the news, I just cried. He had been one of my biggest cheerleaders, and I knew that I was now going to have to be his. He had a couple of very good years getting to travel and spend time with family, all the while meeting with doctors across the country to keep up with the latest treatments and making sure he did everything possible to live as long as he could. My resolve to help in any way I could to end these diseases and spare lives continued to strengthen. So in 2011, in honor of my grandfather and Carly, I decided to walk the San Diego Rock and Roll Half Marathon, which just so happened to be on my 35th birthday. This was my first team in training event. All the coaches and mentors were so amazing, and my friends and family were so generous and helped me become one of the top 10 fundraisers in San Diego that year, raising nearly $20,000. This past spring, my great-uncle Bob, Robert Doomley, was diagnosed with AML. I couldn't believe that another special person to me was being afflicted with blood cancer. He was an amazing man, and I have so many fond memories of him. My first Thanksgiving away from college, he invited me to spend with his family in Delaware. In 2003, I got the chance to reciprocate by hosting him and his wife, Louisa, along with the rest of my family. I was a little embarrassed that I didn't have enough matching wine glasses for all the guests. When Uncle Bob returned, he sent me a complete matching set of wine glasses. Last year, I was fortunate to visit him in Washington, D.C., where he took me and my boyfriend, also named Robert, to the art museum. He shared his passion for art while giving us an amazing private tour of the museum. My Uncle Bob was a gentleman and a scholar. He died this past July, just months after being diagnosed with AML. In October, my grandfather went into the hospital to undergo intensive chemotherapy. Over the next nearly 100 days of treatment, I visited regularly. We mostly had light conversation about what was going on in my busy life, and we reminisced about all the wonderful trips and family celebrations we had shared together. I would help take care of him and be his cheerleader. On January 29, 2013, at 81 years young, I lost one of the greatest men in my life. Hugh Friedman was an amazing lawyer, law professor at USD for 55 years, was instrumental in advocating for better civic education and leadership. He played the clarinet, collected watches, had a train collection, but above all was the most wonderful grandfather a girl could ask for. My world, our world, will not be the same without him. While I am grateful for the 36 years of having him in my life and relieved he is no longer suffering, I am so very sad that he is no longer with us. So now you know about just 3 of the closest 2-degree connections to blood cancer and why I am supporting LLS and the Man Woman of the Year campaign. Thanks for letting me share, and I encourage you to share your connection and help us help those who are doing research to find cures. Together, we can change the future and lives.